welcome to the riverside. This is Avett's story about the ducks. One of the birds I see wherever we go is a duck. For spring vacation, Whitaker and I actually got to travel with the family all the way to North Carolina, where we stayed in a place right next to a mountain stream. I'd seen ducks at the river back home, but the ducks in North Carolina were behaving in ways I'd never seen the ones back home behaving. Whitaker taught me that in order to tell if a duck is a boy or a girl, you have to look at the color of their feathers. He said that usually the duck that has more color and prettier markings are the males, and the ones that are brown and dull are usually females. So the ducks I was watching in North Carolina were 2 males and 1 female. The males took turns climbing up on a stone that was in the river, and they preened themselves to show off their feathers and did this strange dance. Sometimes there were more than 2 males, and they chased each other before one of them pursued the female, and then this dance began all over again. I watched them for the first 3 days we were there because it was so funny to watch the males maneuver themselves and try to make themselves look gallant. I found a mound that I could sit on while Jig and Mama sat in their hammocks. When we returned home after the trip, I started noticing the ducks in our area were doing similar things for a couple weeks. There are a few that seem to nest somewhere in the swamp near the first bend in the river we come to. It seems like every day when we walk to the river, we will hear them quack, quack, quack as one or more of the ducks flies upstream and the others fly downstream. Occasionally, the female duck will act as if it can't fly, but Whitaker told me it was a trick the day I told him we should go help it. He told me it was just acting like it couldn't fly because it wanted to protect its babies that must be hidden in the nest in the area or hiding in some of the brush. He also told me that as a puppy he had been curious about the ducks when they did this, and he went charging after the duck he thought was hurt. Apparently, it would watch Whitaker to see how close he was and then let him get just close enough to keep pursuing before taking a quick flight to get away from him. Whitaker's told me he thought the ducks were trying to lead him downstream, but Jig had called him back. So last week, we went to the cottage on Glen Lake, and on the first day, there were 3 ducks on the dock. I couldn't believe they were on our dock, so I started barking and chased them off. Whitaker came running to see what I was barking at, and the ducks came back toward us a little bit as if they were daring Whitaker to come get them. He climbed down the steps at the end of the dock and started in their direction. Immediately, the ducks started swimming away from him as if they wanted him to follow to the blue line. Whitaker followed for a little bit, but then he came back to the dock and climbed out of the water. The ducks that had gone out about 30 meters past the dock returned to a much closer to the shore. The next day, we were back out in the front yard watching Jig and Talon play when we saw a mother duck with 3 baby ducks swimming around between our dock and the neighbors. They were in near the shallow and close to the neighbor's dock when the mother duck got out of the water and started walking along the dock as her babies followed below in the water. She got about halfway out on their dock before dropping back into the water, where she had her babies climb onto her back before swimming away. A few hours later, another couple ducks came by, and they were fishing for minnows in the shallow water when I saw them. I was really sneaky because I wanted to get a really close look at them. I tried to pretend I wasn't watching them, and I slowly started creeping over to the dock. Neither duck seemed to take notice of me until I made a run and yelled, "Make way for the interpreter!" And that's when they started to act like their wings didn't work. One of the ducks kept saying, "Come on, pup, follow us." The other duck kept saying, "Let's go for a swim, pup. The water feels good." I ran up and down the dock, barking at them, telling them to come closer, but they wouldn't get close enough to me as they kept encouraging me to join them in the water. After about 3 or 4 minutes, I started down the steps into the water. Whitaker must have noticed what was going on because he came crashing into the water and the ducks took flight. It looked like you were going to follow them, pup, he said to me. I was getting really tempted, and they kept encouraging me to do so. It was starting to seem like a really good idea. Well, it wasn't, Avett, Whitaker said. I was just playing with them the other day when I swam with them. They aren't playing. They're trying their best to drown us because that's part of their instinct. Why would their instinct have them trying to drown us, I asked. Because they want to keep their young safe and themselves safe. They figure if they swim a dog to a deep enough point, the dog will drown or wear themselves out trying. Thanks for coming to stop me, because I was really tempted to chase them. It's okay to chase them, Avett. Just turn around before they lure you out too far. I thought about this for a while as I sat there on the dock. Ducks are kinda sneaky, and I'll need to pay more attention to them when we get back to the river. Thanks for listening.